Crisis in Ivory Coast, a nation on the brink. Panic has overtaken the streets of Abidjan, Ivory Coast's largest city and economic capital, in what many believe to be the early stages of a military coup or a full-blown civil uprising. Gunfire has echoed through key neighborhoods. Roads are blocked, smoke is rising, and the country, once considered one of West Africa's most promising economies, is suddenly at the edge of chaos. Reports emerging from the ground and spreading quickly through social media paint a chilling picture. The government appears to be disintegrating in real time. At least 33 people are feared dead in less than 48 hours, caught in violent confrontations between protesters and security forces. With internet access cut in most areas and national broadcasts abruptly halted, the flow of credible information has become almost impossible to track. What we do know is this: something big is happening in Ivory Coast, and it's happening fast. The unrest is widely seen as a response to years of growing dissatisfaction with President Alassane Ouattara's administration. Once praised for stabilizing the country after a decade of civil war, Ouattara now faces accusations of authoritarianism, corruption, and severe human rights violations. His continued association with France, the country's former colonial power, has only deepened public resentment. Many Ivorians feel their sovereignty has been compromised, their government too willing to cater to foreign interests at the expense of its own people. But what truly set this crisis ablaze may have been the recent reports of brutal crackdowns on political opposition, worsening economic conditions, and the steady erosion of civil liberties. Rising inflation, youth unemployment, and an elite class seen as increasingly disconnected from the struggles of everyday citizens have become flashpoints. What began as isolated demonstrations have now transformed into an explosive nationwide movement. Amid the chaos, one question looms large: where is President Ouattara? Unverified reports on X, formerly known as Twitter, have suggested that Ouattara may be missing, under arrest, or even dead. A tweet from a user claiming insider information, Mehmet Vefada, went viral, stating that the president has not made any public appearance or issued any statement since the unrest began. With official media silenced and no government spokespeople reachable, the rumor mill has gone into overdrive. International journalists and diplomats are scrambling for clarity, but answers are scarce. To understand the gravity of this moment, we must remember Ivory Coast's recent history. The country has endured multiple coups and civil wars over the past 2 decades. A 1999 military coup shocked the region. This was followed by a brutal civil war from 2002 to 2007, which effectively split the country into a rebel-held north and government-controlled south. Then came the 2010 to 2011 post-election crisis, which claimed over 3,000 lives and saw Ouattara ultimately come to power with strong international backing. Even after relative calm returned, tensions simmered beneath the surface. In 2017, a military mutiny briefly threatened stability again. Many saw it as a warning sign that the nation's wounds had never truly healed, only bandaged. Now those old wounds are wide open. Adding a new layer of complexity are the geopolitical stakes. The United States and France have long maintained strong ties with Ivory Coast, both politically and militarily. Recently, the expansion of AFRICOM, America's military command in Africa, has been met with growing criticism. Protesters accuse foreign powers of using Ivory Coast as a strategic pawn, prioritizing security and economic interests over the democratic will of the people. Many Ivorian citizens, particularly young people, are pushing back against what they see as neocolonialism masked as partnership. There is a sense that foreign troops, foreign corporations, and foreign governments are all complicit in sustaining a status quo that benefits only a few at the top. The optics of this are powerful: a wealthy elite guarded by foreign forces, while the majority of Ivorians struggle with unemployment, poor healthcare, and rising costs of living. The crisis in Ivory Coast has Western-backed African leaders on edge. Why? Because across West Africa, from Mali to Burkina Faso, Niger to Guinea, Military takeovers have actually brought stability, kicked out French troops, and freed these nations from decades of foreign control. Now, as Abidjan faces unrest, will Ivory Coast be next? Will more African nations break free from Western influence? As of now, embassies and international organizations are on high alert. Several diplomatic missions in Abidjan have urged their citizens to shelter in place and avoid public spaces. Reports suggest some foreign nationals are attempting to evacuate, but with major roads blocked and airports reportedly under military control, movement is severely restricted. Inside the country, everyday Ivorians are bracing for the worst. In the absence of official updates, rumors are spreading like wildfire. Supermarkets are being emptied, schools have closed, and in neighborhoods across Abidjan, residents are forming local patrols, both out of fear and a sense of urgency to protect their communities. The future of Ivory Coast hangs in the balance. This is no longer just a political dispute. It's an awakening, a reckoning with years of inequality, a struggle against foreign domination, and a desperate cry for dignity from a population that feels ignored. Whether this moment leads to meaningful change or deeper tragedy depends on what happens in the next few hours, days, and weeks. But one thing is certain: the world is watching. This is a developing story. We will continue to follow updates from the region, and we urge our viewers to stay informed, stay critical, and stand in solidarity with those affected. If you're watching this and you have family or loved ones in Ivory Coast, our thoughts are with you. Please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated as we cover this crisis and its unfolding impact. For now, this is Exploited, signing off.